Speech earlier, he mentioned the initials SFE. To me, SFE means Saturday Fun Evening. Are we all up for having fun? Also, so a little bit of housekeeping. A few of my wonderful ushers over here have got a drinking game going on throughout these speeches. They have to drink every time I mention groom, thank you, and lovely. Come on, drink. I repeat, that's groom, thank you, and lovely. So everyone writes these speeches when they're sober, right? But I've had a few to drink, so I thought I'd put a little bit of improvisation in. You know, when you're drunk, you think, oh, I'm better than that sober muppet that put that speech together. So I'm just going to actually read out a couple of horoscopes for Sarah and Mark today. Firstly, Leo. Who's the Leo? It's Mark. Healing planet Neptune helps you focus on all that's good about family relationships and cope with the rest. Plus, a relative who rarely gambles will win for you later. Who rarely gambles, Mark?
Great.
Later on, passion takes over, and if you're single, a wise friend introduces you to an Aries. You're not single, Mark. Don't be any Aries. But if settled partners could be sharing exciting news. Ooh. That's Mark's. If you want to know more, Mark, weekly stars are 09067524455. Sarah, Mars gives you an area of adventure that's very good for your love life. Or if you're single, you can meet someone special where sports and music both feature. Are there any other Aquariuses in the room?
That's me.
Money could flow faster into your life, but resist being too soft-hearted with people who are keen to help you. Spend it. Luck circles are names. There's 2 R's in the usher group, so you're in luck. So, I'll actually get on to my speech now. So, the way I see a best man speech, it's actually my duty to give you guys an education, to teach you all about the qualities I know our groom Mark possesses. With that in mind, you'd probably be forgiven for thinking it's going to end within 30 seconds. So at this point, I'm actually obliged to give you the following disclaimer. Or not. Oh. There we go. Sneak preview. So I guess Sarah's half of the guests. I say half, it's probably like 9/10 or something. They're probably looking at Mark thinking, what value does this guy bring me as a now friend or family member? Although I've been struggling with that question myself for 15 years, I'll attempt to shed some light. Probably be clutching at straws though, bear with me. For the other half of you, well, 1/10, sorry, Mark's side, this is just a reminder of just how special Mark is. For Sarah, you should be used to Mark's qualities anyway, so you've now got a lifetime sentence to get used to them. Now, I've known Mark since I was about 11 years old, since I was sadly bullied off a park playing football and had to search for a new park to play in. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, if at the back you can't see at any time, please bring your glasses, both your reading glasses and the ones containing alcohol, and just move round to the sides. So I've known Mark for about 15 years, and I joined this new park to play football in, and I met with Mark and his 2 friends at the time. Mark welcomed me with open arms. Lesson number 1, Mark is extremely welcoming and desperate for friends. If heaven forbid any of you decide to take the trek up the M4 and pay the astronomical toll fee to go over the Severn Bridge, be sure to visit Cardiff and see Mark and Sarah. I know you'll be welcomed with open arms. You'll also be guaranteed some generous catering, which, if provided by Mark, will almost certainly consist of cheese. You see, Mark has a love of food, and in particular cheese. It's a severe weakness, in fact. Actually, the only time I've not seen Mark finish a meal was the lunch that we had before he actually asked Hugh for Sarah's hand in marriage. The knife was shaking like that, he could not eat a single thing. I'm not sure whether he was more nervous about asking for the approval or showing him around Bracknell, our hometown. Incidentally, that was the biggest quivering wreck I've seen Mark in until today, of course. So, Mark's love of food has led to a number of jibes and nicknames in the past. You can see where this is coming on the following slide, right? The one that stuck is Beyonce. For those who don't know, Beyonce is an American singer who's a rather sizable bum. Yes, that is the right way around. I know, it's all earlier. All I can say is, despite Mark's external posterior proving quite a hindrance, he is a guy that will bend over backwards for anyone, friends, family, and now extended family. That's nice, isn't it? Lost my train of thought now. You don't want to see the next one. So, Mark's love of food has been quite a hindrance to him in the past, and it's hindered him from really finding a lovely woman such as Sarah. I dug deep and I found this following slide of a time when Mark wasn't in as good of a shape as he is now. As you can see, Mark has come a long way since then. This should teach you a lot about his willpower and strength of character, for he is still fighting the battle against food to this day. But incidentally, sorry Sarah, now that he has the ring on your finger, he's promised me he's going to rekindle his love for food. Make the most of him this evening before the hotel buffet breakfast that takes over in the morning. So, as you can see, he's looking quite trim today, ladies and gentlemen. So, since he shed the pounds, Mark has always wanted to bear his beauty at every possible opportunity. It's a well-known fact that Mark spends 80% of his time naked. Unsurprisingly, this correlates to another known fact that Sarah spends 80% of her time with her eyes closed. Mark's voyeurism has led to a brief career in modelling, including posing in a number of top magazines. Same boxer shots? In all seriousness, Mark soon realised that the error of his ways. He was increasingly asked to do more provocative work, some X-rated stuff he was not proud of. I have no photos that I can put on the screen here from that stage in his career, but I did find a more romantic image.
It was a nice nap, it was beautiful.
Mark quickly, as I said, realised the error of his ways. He realised the erotic modelling game wasn't him, it was demeaning, and he soon quit it. Let there be a lesson to you. Although Mark can make an easy living out of his external beauty, it's his internal beauty and ethics which cannot be compromised. Kind of. Although Mark quit the erotic modelling game, he came out of it with some true friends, one being the guy that's lying right there. Unfortunately, when they get together, on nights out, they have a few drinks, you'll often see them rekindling their love on the dance floor. So ladies and gentlemen, if you do see us on the dance floor later, that is real. If you do see us on the dance floor later, please turn your cheek and look the other way. It will only last for a couple of minutes. Something I'm sure Sarah will vouch for in the morning. Now, it would be wrong of me to provide an education to you all without referencing some other knowledgeable sources. So I conducted some research amongst some close friends of Mark, asking the question, what do you love most about Mark? Now the first two responses were physical attributes that I know many are envious of. The first, the way his boobs, which are man boobs, shake when he laughs. So if you do get a chance later, ladies and gentlemen, please make Mark laugh on the dance floor and let his boobs strut their stuff. The second physical attribute, which I know many of us have seen, his hairy back patch. For those who don't know, Mark has a bald back apart from a big lump of hair on the left-hand side. Not anymore. So, in Croatia, we thought there'd be no better wedding present that we could offer Sarah than the gift of waxing Mark's back on her behalf. Judging by that, I don't think I'll let us do it again. You can see that with Mark as well. Moving on to the second wave of comments now. And my third informant really dwelled upon his reason for loving Mark. Really speaking from the heart. Fourth and finally, this comes from two sources. And this, for the majority of you, will be the first and last time you'll ever hear this in a sentence. Yes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. On a family retreat to Centre Parks, Mark drank too much and proceeded to jump outside and throw up, only to see his projectile mess get up and waddle off in the shape of a duck. Let this be a lesson, is that if Mark's ever drinking in your home with you, keep your pets outside. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one looking at Sarah thinking how beautiful she looks today, and how has Mark managed to pull this off. Growing up through the peaks and troughs of friendship, we were always trying to outdo each other. Who could do the most kick-ups with a football? That was me. Who would be the first one to pluck up the courage to speak to a girl? That was Mark at the age of 18. Looking at Sarah look this beautiful today makes me realise Mark has hit the biggest peak in his life. And it also makes me fear that it's my job to find as beautiful a bride nearly impossible. I know Mark often feels quite inferior to Sarah's beauty and often thinks of ways to pretty himself up. As well as the pink and purple girly boxer shorts you saw earlier, Mark also straightens his hair. And, as we found out on Mark's stag do in Newcastle, he also cross-dresses. Oh.
Oh man.
I guess that.
That's really good. We skip off that. Onto the serious stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is me coming on to my thank yous. Firstly, I'd like to get the bridesmaids and the flower girls standing, please. There we go. Thumbs up in the air. So firstly, it's customary on behalf of the bridesmaids and flower girls to thank Mark for his speech. So on behalf of Claire, Hannah, Rachel, Aidan and Hattie, boom! Thank you, Mark, for your glorious speech. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say how beautiful the bridesmaids look today, and thank you for your roles today. Please give me a round of applause. You may now sit down. They were obviously only outshone rightfully by the bride. Sarah gets her beauty obviously from her mother. I can't see where she's actually gone. There she is, looking divine today. And her father Hugh, who I'd quickly like to thank for his speech. Can we give a round of applause again? Thank you from everyone here for bringing such an amazing young woman into our lives, especially into Mark's. On that note, thank you for bringing Mark into our life.